Hello everybody, welcome to the video. A little bit ago, I did a video designing lowercase numbers because lowercase numbers don't actually exist. Amongst the wide variety of comments on that video, there was one in particular that stood out to me. Or I guess it was one type of comment in particular because a whole lot of you commented it. That was, of course, to design lowercase symbols. So that... I will say, a lot of you wanted me to rank my lowercase numbers by how easily you can capitalize them, and I'm proud to say that that is a video that now exists. That's live now on my second channel, 2Pixel for You, which is linked in the description. If it interests you, I also put up a bloopers reel from the original ranking letters by how easily you can capitalize them. Without further ado though, let's talk about these atrocities I've designed. To clarify, the only symbols I'm designing alternate versions for are those on an English keyboard. I'm not gonna sit here for 20 hours doing every symbol that ever existed. So that starts us off with the exclamation point. Our good old buddy who's used to enunciate sentences. And our buddy just got an upgrade. It's like a kappa, it's like a T. I don't really know what else I would have done for this. There's not a whole lot, because I could do like that, but that's just a lowercase t, which feels less uppercasey than this one. So maybe if we did like middle case there. Now that there's a middle case exclamation point too. Maybe I could have done like that, because that feels more enunciated than just the line. But the thing is, some people and some fonts write it like this already anyway. So we kind of need like a whole new character. I don't know, I like this and I can't really tell you where the idea came from. It just poofed into existence, and I'm okay with this. I would like to go in order kind of down the number keys first and the symbols that correspond to said keys. But for the sake of clarity, we're gonna do the question mark next. And this is where I have to come clean about something. I lied. I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. I know the video is titled I designed uppercase symbols, and the comments in the intro of the video said to design lowercase symbols. And so I did a little bit of both. There's uppercase and lowercase in this video. I would have done just lowercase, or I would have done just uppercase, but there's so many symbols and they're all so different that I think it just makes more sense to do a little bit of everything. You always need a little diversity in your typography, so that's what I've done here. And so because of that, I've actually made it so that the question mark is uppercase by default, which means the lowercase question mark is that. It works. I don't see yeah, I like it. If you'll remember, that is actually just what my lowercase 3 looked like, but this time it has the dot underneath it, so it's different enough. If I ask a question and I need a lowercase question mark, I like it. It fits in and it looks nice in the sentence. I don't know. And it feels mini. It feels like a smaller question mark. And again, I would have done all uppercase or all lowercase, but what would I have done for a uppercase question? That's just a guy. It's me. Wow, he looks hideous. Up next is probably my favorite design of the entire video, because of course we have the @ symbol, and that's a lowercase a, so it has to be an uppercase A. So, I mean, a lot of you can probably see where this is going. I really like it. Is it goofy looking? Yeah. Does it make sense? Yeah. I don't really have much more to say. I really like how it turned out. Everything works out and it makes sense. And this is the one, easily the one I'm most proud of. Out of all my designs for lowercase or uppercase things, this one's my favorite. It's silly, it's goofy, and it does it all just right. Following the @ symbol is the octothorpe, or the hashtag, or the pound. There's too many names. Again, this is another one where it just feels like there's so much going on already that it kind of has to be lowercase. And so, brace for impact, I made it this. I struggled with this one a bit because I was just gonna kind of make it a box, but a box is a box. The biggest issue with this one is that it could get confused for an A, but as long as you make the lines coming off of the side distinct enough, I think it works. I guess it also could be confused for an AF, but that's not a real character to my knowledge. The one that is that, but there's no line coming down the bottom, so It's okay. I totally understand if you don't like it or you're not for it, but this is it. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Change the video? Next up is the $. And I know there's more currencies than just the dollar. Hold on, I'll address it in a minute. By default, the $sign is a capital S. So the obvious thing to do here is just make the other one a lowercase s. But I came up with an extra step here to guarantee that you don't get the two confused, and that is to add an extra line to the uppercase one. So the uppercase $sign is an S with 2 lines, and the lowercase $sign is an S with 1 line. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and do this for every single currency, but I'll cover the major ones. Save for one, they all follow this same principle. Uppercase with 2 lines, lowercase with 1 line. Uppercase with 2 lines, lowercase with 1 line. Uppercase with 2 lines, lowercase with 1 line. The only one this doesn't work for is the pound symbol. And so I just, like... After that is the percentage symbol. I wasn't quite sure how to address this, and then it kind of just like came to me in a vision. You get it? It's like, it's half of, it's the normal one, but it's been divided in half. I can't just keep going silent after everyone expecting a reaction. Like, I have to say something. It might not feel lowercase, but it definitely feels like a smaller version of the pre-existing percentage symbol, right? The only thing I could see is that rather than being the height of the normal percentage symbol, it would maybe get changed to be smaller, but then it looks a bit too much like a V. I like this one, and I think it feels pretty organic, all things considered. You know how I said the @ symbol was my favorite of the list? This next one's my least favorite of the list. Next up is the little caret that's usually attached to the 6 key on American keyboards. So this little guy. I had no clue what to do for this. Do you know what I did? I just want to say, if you feel an intense wave of rage surging through you right now, it's completely valid and I understand it 100%. I just really got lost on this one and I genuinely had no clue what to do. You don't need to kill me over it though, right? Surely we can have a civil discussion over it. Following that abomination is the ampersand. Because this symbol is most often used to represent the word and, I know there's other ways people like to write it, and I've accounted for those as well. In every case, the pre-existing version of this symbol is uppercase, so I've designed 3 lowercase counterparts, starting with, of course, the normal ampersand. And so my lowercase version is, and you probably saw this coming, that. No explanation needed. Then there are the alternate ways in which people write the and symbol, and so those are those. The lowercase versions are pretty self-explanatory. I like them. The only thing here that I think comes close to being a symbol that already exists is this one, but like, shut up. However, those other ones were kind of secondary in my thought process, and obviously this one is the best. Okay, I don't hate this one as much as the caret, but if the caret pissed you off, I have a feeling this one will too. See, the problem with the asterisk is that people write them with like a bunch of different points on them. Some people do 5, some people do 6, some people do 8. So I needed to account for all of those. And so what better way to capitalize an asterisk than just adding a Y to it? I'm not kidding, by the way, this is my design. No matter how many points the asterisk has, it can just be capitalized, and it still represents the original asterisk, however you may write it. Drite? I mixed draw and write together, so now it's drite. Okay, however you may drite an asterisk, the capitalized version just makes sense with it. Is it corny to just do a letter in addition to the symbol? Yeah, but is it cool? Is it cool? I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. If we're continuing the trend of going down the number keys on an English keyboard, then next are the parentheses. So I'm just gonna get all of these out of the way real quick, nice and easy. What more did you want me to do? I'm keeping it simple with these, and I promise no other ones on this list are just the same between capital and lowercase. Well, okay, I lied, but I promise it's for good reason. We had to do it with one of them at least, because there's a ton of them in the English alphabet, so I feel like it just made sense. Next up are the slashes. You know what these look like? The letter I, but sideways. So... I think you can tell I was just kind of done with this idea by this point, but just don't write in italics, and I think you'll be okay. No, that's not gonna fly. Hold on. Okay, we're revising the script. The slash gets changed to this. I think that's better. It feels lowercasey, and it's also not just an I. On the script, it's actually written like that, but I'm changing it because I can tell that this would have upset so many people, okay? So it's this now. Moving on to punctuation, we'll start simple with the period. This is quite literally a dot, okay? This is the biggest reason I couldn't do lowercase symbols, because how do I simplify a dot? It's the same, it doesn't work. And so obviously the period needs to get a capital variant, and to keep it simple, I just decided that you put a circle around it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then of course there is the comma. And because the comma by default kind of rests on the line, I've decided that the uppercase comma will also rest on the line. And I'm actually not upset with this one. I like how neatly it nestles itself onto the line, and I like the design of it. It's kind of like a half of a heart. It works next to the normal comma, and it feels uppercase, while also retaining the vibe of the comma itself. What am I talking about? It's a good one. In fact, it's so good that I also translated it into quotation marks and the semicolon. To start, quotation marks usually go up high on the line, and so in the case of the capitalized quotation marks, they also go up high on the line. In the case where the quotation marks are doubled, I don't see a reason for any complaints. I like these ones, and they fit with the commas still. As quotation marks and commas are normally, these all work in tandem. And so, I don't know, I like it. These are probably my second favorite, other than the at symbol, because I just think they all flow so nicely together. Of course, this would also apply to the semicolon. Yeah. Now, it might work for the semicolon, but it doesn't exactly work for the normal colon, because again, that's just two dots. And I was not about to follow in the period's footsteps and just do two dots with circles around them, because now it's just a pair of eyes, but vertically spaced. So instead I got a bit creative, and I'm not sure how much I like this form of creativity, but it's definitely a form of creativity. I mean, love it or hate it, that is unique. Actually, I don't know if I love it or hate it. However, it gets the point across without being a pair of eyes floating in space. So, good enough. Did you know that these pens can do that, actually, by the way? Did you know that they have an eraser on the end? I've never used it in any of the videos. That's the first time I've done that. Plot twist of the century. The whiteboard markers that Pixel uses in his videos have erasers on the end. Whoa! Moving into our math symbols, which I wish as much as you we could skip, but you know, we're here for the sake of clarity. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And of course, all of these have alternate ways to write them. For example, division you can also write as a slash, but we've been over that by this point. Multiplication you can also write as a dot, but we're not doing that again. And so, for all of these, I've designed new capitalized versions. Those are as follows. Guys, please don't judge me. I tried hard on these. Let me go through all of these one by one just so there's a bit less confusion. With the plus, I wanted to do something similar to T, how you just kind of make it capital. But like, what do I can't just make it that, because that's not gonna work. I also was thinking about doing double lines on either side, but that is just a hashtag, so we can't do that. And so I decided on this, and I don't think there's any symbols that look like this. I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. I feel like I'm wrong a lot of the time, actually. But to my knowledge, this is original, and I feel like it represents an uppercase plus symbol pretty well. We could have gone the whole video with it. You know what? Both of them go. That bounced really high. Why are the markers bouncy? Now, regarding the subtraction symbol, we have the dash, and so I decided, hey, what if we do a line through it? But nope, that's just the T, so we can't do that. But what if we add a line underneath it? Okay, that works. What I like about this one is that it's also consistent with the tilde, that little squiggly line, because you can just do the same thing. And then, you know, if this gets out there enough and people want to find their own ways to write them, you could also do the tilde like this with two squiggly, that was a voice crack, with two squiggly lines. I might be thinking ahead a bit too much here because I don't know if anybody's ever gonna adopt this anyway, but if they did, then they could find alternate ways to write it. I think for the sheer reason of consistency and fun, this works for the subtraction symbol.
Hey guys, it's me, Pixel. I realized that I completely forgot about the equal sign. And I got McDonald's, so I'm gonna use it to illustrate my point. Okay, so basically it follows the same pattern as the dash and tilde, and I made it with my fries. So it's basically, it's basically like, you know, okay.
Multiplication is very self-explanatory. It's just X, so it's just X. And then this looks like an H, but like, what else would what would you have wanted me to do? This? No, ew. This? Also ew. And so I did this, and I like this. It feels unique in a cool way, so that's the one for division. But I'd never use this symbol anyway, so I don't know that it matters that much. Then we have the greater than and less than symbols. At this point, I was kind of losing hope on what to do, so I got lazy. But not like too lazy, because those still work, right? I'm still kind of torn on these ones, but if you think about it, you also have the greater than or equal to, and it still works with these ones. So I think, you know, I'm tired, I'm sick, give me a break. Next up's another one that I really hated trying to design, because what do you want me to do for a line that's supposed to be under the line? Huh? The underscore is such a strange character because I can't just do the same thing I did with subtraction, because if it's here, I can't do that. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do this? No, I'm not doing that. And so I did something that I'm actually not quite sure how I feel about. I'm designing lowercase. Why am I designing lowercase symbols? I could be doing anything else with myself. I could be designing anything. I could be helping the world. I could be healing people. I could be doing anything. Instead of designing lowercase symbols, what am I doing with my life? And finally, the last symbol on the list is that weird thing that's just a line. You know, the one that a lot of YouTubers use in their titles. That's like, it goes in between letters. I'm just a mean person. Why did I write that? What do I do for that? I want to assume that my designs for alternate symbols would exist in the same universe as my designs for lowercase numbers. So in that case, we can't really do anything. We've used up this, we've used up this, we've used up this, we've used up this. I have no options left. I guess I could do something to make it uppercase, but like, what? Maybe this? I don't know. I'm genuinely at a loss for this one. So, you know what? This is gonna be the only one that doesn't get an uppercase or a lowercase. It's just itself. It's just being itself. And you know what? Good for it. Who says it needs to be uppercase or lowercase? Why can't it just be that? All right, well, with that, we've covered all the symbols. But what's the application of these? What's the use for them in our day-to-day lives? What purpose would they serve in writing?